everybody, Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today I am bringing you a deck centered around Mega Scizor EX and Garbodor. And before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you liked this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, and maybe subscribe. It helps us out a lot and lets us do more for you guys. And as for the question of the day, this is going to be a really random question and just kind of off the wall, has zero basis, and that question is, how many Pokemon does it take to screw in a light bulb, and what kind? Now, I know that that's really just the beginning of a lot of different jokes. Well, not Pokemon, but you get what I mean. How many of blank does it take to screw in a light bulb? And I decided that, you know what? I'm just going to ask that question and see what you guys come up with. I mean, honestly, no matter how bad of a joke it is, I want to hear it because I'm genuinely curious. And we all know that I love horrible jokes. I make them all the time. And I'm about to make one right now, even though it's not really too much of a joke. But if you had to ask me how many Pokemon would it take to change a light bulb and what kind of Pokemon, I would say that it would take one Mewtwo. Why one Mewtwo? Well, it would take that one Mewtwo to realize that the light bulb was nothing but a clone of the original, and then he would take it and disappear forever with it in order to keep it from being taken advantage of by humans. So, yeah, how many Pokemon does it take to screw in a light bulb? My answer is one Mewtwo to disappear with it forever, like he did in Mewtwo Strikes Back and Mewtwo Returns, which coincidentally or not so coincidentally sound a heck of a lot like the Star Wars franchise, and I really hope I didn't commit copyright infringement by saying that, but wow, I rambled for way too long. Let's just go ahead and talk about the deck, and, well, once again, leave your comment in the comment section below as to how many Pokemon it would take to screw in a light bulb and which Pokemon. Now, like I said, this deck is centered around Mega Scizor EX and Garbodor. Mega Scizor, 220 HP, so I mean, not that bulky, but I mean, still relatively bulky, with the Iron Crusher attack for 2 metal energy, so a pretty cheap attacker. Does 120, which is very solid, and you may discard a special energy attached to your opponent's Pokemon or a stadium card in play. Now, right now, a lot of decks are relying on DCE in stadiums, with like Mega Rayquaza relying on Skyfield in DCE, Mega Mewtwo relying on, Shrine of Memories and DCE, etc, etc. So a lot of decks will be disrupted by that. And how are we enhancing the disruption? Well, that is with Garbodor's Garbotoxin ability. Our deck does not rely on abilities at all except for like initial Shaman and Hoopa, so as soon as you get a Garbodor in play, your opponent's deck will pretty much be shut down while you will not be hindered at all. So I mean, admittedly, I kind of said in the very early stages of the new format that I didn't think this deck was that good, and I will be the first to admit that I was 100% wrong. This is easily one of the top 3 decks in the entire format right now. I mean, this deck is just so powerful, it has very good matchups, and while I still maintain that I think Mega Rayquaza is a little bit better overall, I mean, with the fact that it can knock out a Scizor and Mega Scizor in one hit if you get up a Skyfield properly, and if you are able to use Super Rod to its fullest extent in the Mega Rayquaza deck, I think that it would have the advantage against Mega Scizor. And especially with Generations coming out, well, not Generations, that's the series that's on, well, actually, that's already a TCG that's out, and that is the series that is on the Pokemon YouTube right now. If you haven't seen that, check it out, it's really cool. But the Evolutions pack, there we go. The Evolution set that is coming out, I think will increase Mega Rayquaza's viability and its power to make it the best deck in the format, in my opinion. But this deck is still super strong because of the disruption that it provides and also the typing that it has. I mean, fire is not really around except for Volcanion decks, and I'll be honest, this deck is almost kind of sort of an auto lose to Volcanion, just because they're able to use their non-EX attackers to one-shot Scizor and Mega Scizor. Well, Mega Scizor, if it has a Fighting Fury Belt attached, and then just Steam Artillery from the Baby Volcanion one-shots it. But either way, against the majority of the decks in this current meta, Mega Scizor has a very good matchup, and I was 100% wrong. I will admit that this is a very good deck that I encourage you guys to try out. Now, on to the actual deck composition. We are running 2 Shaman, not running that many just because we're running Garbodor, and our strategy is reliant on Garbodor. So only running 2 Mewtwo. Or Mewtwo, wow, why did I say Mewtwo? We're running 2 Shaman because Shaman, excellent draw support early in the game, and you really only need one of these guys, and you're really only going to use one. But I mean, Again, you can always use 2, and that's why we're running 2 in the deck. Sometimes 1 is prized, but still 1 is generally all you need for this deck. We're running 4-3 of Scizor and Mega Scizor. We're running more Scizor than Mega Scizor just because we want to guaranteed get a Mega Scizor turn 2. I mean, if you get a Mega Scizor turn 3, then that is that's really, really bad for this deck. So you want to get as many Scizor out on the field as possible and then start hitting things with Mega Scizor as soon as turn 2. So running 4-3 of that, just make sure that you always have a Scizor ready to evolve into a Mega Scizor when you need it. 1 Hoopa, this deck is centered around EXs, so why the heck not throw a Hoopa in there to help with speeding up this the consistency of this deck and making sure that you are able to get the Mega Scizor turn 2. And then 2-2 of Trubbish and Garbodor. You could run a 3-3, but that makes this deck a little bit more clunky, and generally you only really need a 2-2 just long enough to disrupt your opponent to where you're able to snatch the momentum and just run with it from there. So only running a 2-2 of Trubbish and Garbodor, but you can definitely run a 3-2 or a 3-3 if you would like. As for the items, I know I am always bashing on people for using Crushing Hammer because, I mean, I think it's just a card that you really shouldn't splash in decks. You should go for more consistency cards, but this deck is very, very streamlined in its strategy, so you have available spaces, and because this deck is so contingent on being able to disrupt your opponent, we're running 4 Crushing Hammer, which is just flip a coin, discard an energy. Very, very, very effective in this deck. Sets your opponent back 1 or 2 turns depending on how many heads you can flip, and in conjunction with Iron Crusher from Mega Scizor, you can completely power down a Mega Rayquaza in 1 turn with Iron Crusher plus Crushing Hammer. So it's a very, very, very powerful card in this deck. And, you know, I'm actually kind of a fan of it in this deck. I know that when I hate facing it. I will admit that 100% of the time. I hate facing Crushing Hammer. I think it's a dumb card that should be rotated out. But this deck is so strong with it that you cannot not use it, in my opinion. Running 2 Mega Turbo to help get a Mega Scizor powered up in 1 turn if one of them happens to get knocked out. Running 1 Super Rod to get some stuff back. I mean, I would definitely... I don't know. I think Super Rod is better than Sacred Ash. I mean, obviously you can't run Sacred Ash because it got rotated out, but Super Rod is the better option in this deck because you want to keep energy in the discard pile for in case you need a Mega Turbo, but you only need 1 or 2. So getting Pokemon back is also great as well. Like if a Mega Scizor gets knocked out, or you have to discard 2 Garbodor with a Sycamore early on, just all types of things that lets you get those back into play. Well, not in play, into your deck, but you guys know what I mean. And then running 4 copies of Trainer's Mail to help with consistency drawing, like Ultra Balls, Supporters, Spirit Links, stuff like that. 4 Ultra Ball to get everything out. 4 VS Secret to reuse all of our supporters. And this supporter line is a lot different than one I usually run, and I will let you guys in on why I chose what I did in a second. But I'm running 2 Lysander because this deck, again, is very reliant on disruption, and Lysander is great for disruption, and also sniping out Shaman on the bench. That is one way that this deck takes prizes, sniping out Shaman on the bench, and that is, I mean, that's great because Mega Scizor can knock them out in 1 hit. So those Shaman are basically just sitting prizes, and you want to have the Lysander available when you need it. That's why I'm running 2 instead of 1. Running a 3-4 as opposed to a 2-4 of N and Sycamore, just to get more draw support in. I mean, N is 100% better than Birch. That's why you never run Birch anymore if you can run N. So I ran another copy of N to help with the consistency, help with guarantee, well, not guarantee, but help the probability of getting a draw supporter when I need it. And then 4 Sycamore just for guaranteed draw. And then I'm running 1 Pokemon Center Lady. This spot in my decks usually goes to Pokemon Ranger right now. But honestly, I ran up against absolutely 0 of the Regice decks. I mean, I did not run into a single one in a whole day of testing with this deck, so I decided that, you know what, for the time being, I'm just going to throw a Pokemon Center Lady in there because Mega Scizor is not going to be knocked out easily. I mean, this thing is very, very bulky with Shield Energy and Reverse Valley. It's rarely, if ever, going down in 1 hit, so Pokemon Center Lady can give it a little more longevity and also cure like paralysis or poison or whatever. But you can definitely run a Pokemon Ranger in this spot if you feel that Regice is too big of a threat to deal with. I mean, Jolteon and Glaceon, well, you have a basic and an evolution to deal with it, so that can kind of work. And also Scizor with its, what attack is that? With its Gale Thrust, if it switches into the active, can one-shot a Glaceon with a Fighting Fury Belt on it. So, I mean, that's why I'm not worried about Pokemon Ranger as much in this deck. But if you're one of those people that runs into Regice a lot, then I would encourage you to switch Pokemon Center Lady for Pokemon Ranger. This is just my opinion right now. And then on to the stadiums, we're running 1 Parallel City to help with the Mega Rayquaza matchup. Just disrupt it, put it down to 3, and make them try to build up from there, and hopefully we'll be able to take over the match by then. And then 2 Reverse Valley to help take hits a little better. I know that this isn't exactly the best for, like, Dark matchups, but I think this deck beats Dark anyway just because of the discarding special energy and whatnot, although it does struggle a little bit with Giratina, but that's where Garbodor can come into play to shut down that ability and have you discard the Double Dragon energy. But you can just as easily run 2 Parallel City and 1 Reverse Valley. I mean, that's something 100% that you can tinker with. That's just my opinion. Running 2 Floatstone could run 3. I just like running 2 because we only have 2 Garbodor in this deck. So, I mean, I can definitely see the reason for running 3, but I only run 2. Again, opinion. That is something for you guys to decide. 3 Scizor Spirit Links because we're only running 3 Mega Scizor, 3 Shield Energy to help Mega Scizor take hits a little better, and then 6 of the regular Metal Energy to be able to just power up all of these guys and go from there. So yeah, I mean, I have rambled for absolutely way too long, and that's not a Metal Energy, that is a Shield Energy. I think I said that, but I'm not sure. But either way, rambled way too long. Let's just go ahead and see this deck in action. Alrighty, we have found one against Blaze335 with a Dark deck. So, okay, yeah, admittedly, the Reverse Valley will not be doing much in this matchup, but I feel like Dark decks are not overly popular right now in the metagame. I mean, they could be. I just haven't run into them that much. That's why I'm okay with running more Reverse Valleys to help the Scizors and Mega Scizors take hits better. But, I mean, that's my opinion. It all depends on what you run into and what you think is a bigger threat. I just prefer more Reverse Valleys, but again, you can run more Parallel City if you would like to deal with Mega Ray a lot better and also not potentially have that 1 Parallel City prized. I haven't run into that problem yet. That's definitely something that could be a problem. We do lose the coin flip, so we will go second. I mean, that stinks a little bit. I mean, this deck really does like going first, but at the same time, you can also go for a Steel Wing, get like 20 damage off on whatever my opponent plays down, and go from there. Okay, so this is the Fright Knight Eviltal with Pitch Black Spear. Okay, this is going to be a little bit of a problem because he has, just through that Pokemon alone, he is denying us our ability to use Spirit Link effectively. So Garbodor is going to come through clutch if I can get that down. Okay, so we have 2 Trubbish, 1 Garbodor. Yeah, 2 Trubbish, 1 Garbodor, 2 Shaman, 3 Scizor, 3 Mega Scizor, and then, okay, so I have 3 Spirit Link, 2 Floatstone. Alright, so we're good to go. Let's go ahead and play my hand down so I can try to draw into something. Yeah, let's just go ahead and grab the Reverse Valley. Why the heck not? I mean, it's not gonna do much, but I mean, it might force my opponent to play their Stadium down, so potentially we can start getting into Stadium more. I mean, this kind of helps him a little bit, but I mean, I get Tails on the Crushing Hammer, not a big deal. I mean, I would have liked Heads, definitely would have liked Heads, but it's not that huge of a deal. Okay, I do get the Spirit Link onto the Scizor. Let's go ahead and Trainer's Mail, see what I can get. Let's just grab the N. And yeah, this one I'm really, really fishing for a way to get the Trubbish down with a Floatstone or something onto it. And yeah, I think I'm just going to Sycamore. Gets rid of Shield Energy, but that's not too big of a deal. And oh boy, that was beautiful. So I can get, sorry, I get a Trubbish and a Floatstone and another Scizor. So what I think I'm going to do is go ahead and play the Floatstone down on Trubbish, because I mean, there's currently no item hate right now. I mean, the Xerosic and Starling Megaphone have both been rotated out. And then I'm just going to go for the Steel Wing, because if my opponent can't get anything else down, I can knock him out with an Iron Crusher next turn, and I definitely have the Ultra Ball to be able to do that. And, okay, so I need to get a Garbodor and a Mega Scizor next turn. If I can get a Garbodor and a Mega Scizor, then I will win, but I need the Garbodor down first in order to shut off his Fright Knight so that he does not, well, yeah, shut down his Fright Knight so that my turn does not end when I play down my Mega Scizor. So he's going to go for the Pitch Black Spear. Okay, I need a Floatstone as well. So that's a little bit annoying. Okay, so what I am going to go ahead and do is Ultra Ball, get rid of the Scizor and the, I think, a VS Seeker. Yeah, let's go ahead and get rid of VS Seeker. I mean, at this point, I'm going all in, because if I can go ahead and get my Mega Scizor this turn, then I will just win. If I can get a Floatstone, a Garbodor, and a Mega Scizor, then I will just win. So I'm kind of playing a little more recklessly. I'm not conserving my resources. Okay, so I do get the other Float Stone. That is absolutely phenomenal, actually. I can go ahead and play the Shield Energy onto the Scizor. Go ahead and Ultra Ball, get rid of the VS Seeker and the Crushing Hammer to grab the Garbodor. I'm grabbing the Garbodor instead of the Mega Scizor because there's only one Garbodor in my deck, and there's 3 Mega Scizor. And alright, so the Fright Knight is shut off. I will be able to evolve into my Yveltal's active, into my Mega Scizor, which I do draw. I'm going to go ahead and retreat into my Scizor on the bench, play down the Mega Scizor, and then just Iron Crusher for the win. To be fair, I also could have gone for a Gale Thrust, so I didn't need the Mega Scizor, but I mean, that's just kind of a nice way to end it. And then, yeah, just Salt in the Wound, discard the Special Energy. And yeah, so I mean, that was a very, very, very quick first match, but to be honest, it kind of showed off what this deck does. I mean, it showed off Garbodor doing work, it showed off Mega Scizor being relatively fast, and also discarding a Special Energy. I mean, this obviously won't count as a real match, but it was still just kind of cool to see that already the first match that I try to have with this deck, we got everything going pretty immediately, and I'm hoping we can get something just as good next match. So you know what, let's just go ahead and try to find another one. Alrighty, we have found another one against a Garbodor with a Psychic and normal deck, and they have the advantage, so you know what that means. That means we get extra points, well, 1 extra coin now, if we can upset them, and we do win the coin flip, so we do get to go first. That is absolutely fantastic for me, and you know what's more fantastic? I think that the deck we are up against is a Mega Mewtwo Garbodor deck, which we 1000% have the matchup advantage against, just because we have resistance in Mega Scizor. We also have Iron Crusher, which discards Special Energy, and the Stadium when Shrine of Memories and stuff like that. We have Crushing Hammer, and lo and behold, it is exactly what I thought it was. So let's go ahead and Trainer's Mail, see what we can get. Yeah, let's just go ahead and grab the Pokemon Center Lady. I mean, we have no reason not to. Let's go ahead and Ultra Ball, get rid of the N and the Center Lady to grab a Hoopa. Yeah, because I mean, I want to get set up as quickly as possible, hopefully draw into a Float Stone or 2. Let's go ahead, yep, we'll search for 3 EXs. It's going to be 2 Scizor and a Shaman, and unfortunately, I only have 1 Mega Scizor in my deck. Wow, that means 2 are prized, which could be bad, but I mean, Mega Scizor is so bulky in this matchup, and also, I mean, you don't attach that many energy to it. So yeah, let's just go ahead and play all of that down, get the Shaman for 4 more cards, hopefully get something good. Don't get anything particularly good. Ultra Ball, or not Ultra Ball. Trainer's Mail, see what I can get. I don't get anything good. Sorry. So, I don't want to discard anything, so what I think I'm going to do is just go ahead and do that. Play the Perilous City down. I didn't want to grab anything off the Trainer's Mail because I think I'm just going to Sycamore to get rid of my hand. And yeah, I mean, I'll get rid of a VS Seeker, but that's not the end of the world. Okay, so I draw into something that I can work with next turn, as long as I can get a Float Stone. Okay, I got a Sycamore, so I mean, I have 2 Float Stone in my deck. I'm already halfway through it. I mean, I have a potential Mega Scizor. I have room for a Mega Scizor next turn. I can Ultra Ball, get rid of the regular Metal Energy, and then the Scizor, and then grab the Mega Scizor, play down the Shield Energy, and guess what? We will have a Mega Scizor ready to go. Then I can Sycamore away and Crushing Hammer whatever my opponent tries to play down. So, I mean, I'm just very, very, very good position. A very good start for me. I mean, he will be able to get like 60 damage on this Trubbish with his Mewtwo, but I don't think that'll be too big of a deal. He does get the Float Stone onto his Trubbish, so I mean, honestly, if he shuts down my, if he gets a Garbotoxin up, that's not a big deal at all for me, because I really don't particularly care about Garbotoxin, because, I mean, like I said, this deck runs it as well, so I'm more concerned with just getting my Trubbish out of the active spot than I am with getting the Garbotoxin. I mean, my opponent will be able to, if I can't draw the Float Stone, he will be able to knock out my Garbodor, but at that point, I mean, it's 1 prize. I don't really plan on playing another Trubbish down, but I mean, then again, I say that, and I mean, I kind of always do that. I say I don't plan on something, and then I do it right as I say I'm not planning on it, but what I am going to do, go ahead and Ultra Ball, get rid of the Scizor and the Metal Energy to grab the 1 copy of Mega Scizor in my deck, so hopefully my first couple prizes, one of my first couple prizes will be a Mega Scizor, and then I'm going to play the Shaman down. I'm playing both Shaman and a Hoopa just because I need that Float Stone. I really want that right now, and I don't get it. Okay, so let's go ahead and play the Garbodor down. I'm getting rid of another VS Seeker because I want that Floatstone, and wow, I still don't get the Floatstone. Well, that sucks. That really sucks, actually. Let's go ahead and counter my opponent's Stadium, play the Reverse Valley, let my Mega Scizor take hits a little better, and okay, so my opponent's going to take a knockout on the Garbodor. Honestly, all that really does is lets N do a little bit better for me, because my opponent's still going to have to knock out 3 EXs to win the game. I mean, that's just how it's going to be. I'm not going to play down another Trubbish, or at least I don't think I am at this point, and I really shouldn't. So, future me, if you play down a Trubbish, bad future me. But, I mean, if he knocks out the Garbodor, nothing is really lost, because, like I said, it'll just make the ends get him one less card every single time, and he'll still have to knock out 3 EXs. Meanwhile, I have plenty of targets on the board. And you know what? I'm giving my opponent a virtual high five, because he was able to Sycamore, discard none, and no matter what, if your opponent or you Sycamores and discards absolutely nothing, then you should high five. You should high five on that, because that was a well done Sycamore and that was a well played hand. So my opponent is able to get 2 Mega Mewtwo up, but I'm actually not worried at all, because I mean, like I said, I have the Mega Scizor to discard the special energy off of the Mega Mewtwo's. He will not be doing that much to me overall because of Shield Energy and because of Reverse Valley. So what I am going to go ahead and do is play the Metal Energy onto my whatchamacallit, onto my Scizor on the bench, just in case I'm able to draw a Mega Scizor off of the prizes, and then go ahead and end my opponent down to 5 while getting myself 6. And okay, can I work with this? I can kind of work with this. So I'm going to go ahead and Iron Crusher. Go ahead and start getting damage on the Mega Mewtwo. I mean, I have Reverse Valley in play, I have a Shield Energy on my Scizor, and then let's go ahead and discard the DCE. And alright, my opponent, even if he gets a DCE onto his Mewtwo, he'll only be hitting me. Wow, doesn't even get a DCE onto it, so he just has to play a regular energy, so he might not be able to attack. That would be absolutely great for me if he couldn't attack, but I mean, okay, never mind, he got that Mega Turbo. So he will be able to hit me for a Psychic Infinity this turn, but it will only be doing 110. Oh wait, 110 is actually the perfect number for a knockout. Darn it. Oh well. Yeah, I think I'm just going to start powering up my Scizor on the bench. That way I have something else going in case my opponent is able to put this Mega Scizor in a position of getting knocked out. I have the Super Rod to put it back into my deck and hopefully draw into it somehow. I mean, it sucks that 2 of my Mega Scizor are prized, otherwise that would definitely be what I'm going for at this point. And okay, my opponent just goes for an end, gives me a fresh hand. I mean, I'm okay with that. I mean, I liked my hand, but I'm okay with a fresh hand as well, because I'll be able to draw 6. And oh, well, look at that. I drew whatever I needed. And this is actually a little bit better, because I don't have to get rid of my Ultra Balls if my opponent manages to knock out my Mega Scizor somehow. My opponent plays down the Garbodor, but little does he realize that is only going to help me, because I've already played down all of my Pokemon that have abilities. I'm not going to be relying on abilities for the rest of the match, and actually, my opponent is only able to hit for 90. I forgot about Resistance. Thank you, Mega Scizor, for once again coming through ridiculously clutch, and I will be able to take a knockout this turn. I'm not going to Sycamore or Lysander this turn, just because I'm going to have the knockout on the Mega Mewtwo. I have the Lysander in hand that I don't want to get rid of, especially because I've already gone through 2 VS Seekers. And then I don't want to get rid of another Sycamore, and I want to keep the Super Rod for when my Mega Scizor gets knocked out. I mean, I draw my Mega Scizor off the prizes, so it's not as vital that I keep that thing safe now. But I mean, I just wanted to make sure that my Mega Scizor, that I would have a Mega Scizor able to attack even if I didn't draw it off the prizes. And my opponent's got another Mega Mewtwo powered up in the background. What I can do is attach. Actually, my Mega Scizor will not get knocked out once again by Psychic Infinity, which I find absolutely awesome. So even if he goes for a 5 energy Psychic Infinity on my already pretty damaged Scizor, thanks to Reverse Valley and Shield Energy and the Resistance, I will not get knocked out, and what I can do is attach. Yeah, I think that is the play. So he will not knock me out, put me 10 damage away, and thank you, Resistance, once again for coming through clutch. Attach another energy to my Mega Scizor. Go ahead and evolve into a Mega Scizor on the bench. Retreat into this guy, because I have 2 Shield Energies on him, and he is completely fresh. go for an Iron Crusher and once again hold on to my hand. I don't want to discard what I have. I want to be able to Super Rod a Mega Scizor back in when it inevitably gets knocked out, and I want to have that available to me. And I am just going to go ahead and Iron Crusher, get 120 damage onto that Mewtwo, discard the DCE, so he will not be able to do jack all to me. And I am saving that Lysander for a Shaman. I know that I could easily just Lysander up a Shaman and take 2 prizes, but I'm saving my Lysander for later. I mean, my opponent will continually have to end me if he doesn't want the Lysander play to be a possibility. I mean, he doesn't have another Mega Mewtwo powered up. This Mega Mewtwo is going to get knocked out this turn. I mean, he doesn't even have... He has a Float Stone on the Mega Mewtwo, on the Mewtwo on the bench. I mean, yeah, he gets another Mewtwo up with a Spirit Link, but at this point, he won't be doing much damage to me at all. I mean, look at that. That does 90. A 4 energy Psychic Infinity does 90 to my Mega Scizor. That's how strong this guy is right now. And then I'm going to go ahead and Trainer's Mail for... Do I want anything? Honestly, I don't know what I would want. You know what? I think I'm just going to grab... Yeah, I'm just going to grab the Super Rod. That way, if my opponent manages to knock out one of my Mega Scizors next turn... Well, actually, no. Screw that. I'm just going to go ahead and get energy back into my deck. Yeah, that's a better play to have that available to power up another Scizor if I have to. Let's go ahead and Iron Crusher. Get rid of the Stadium in play because my opponent... I mean, I'm knocking out the Mega Mewtwo anyway, so it's not a big deal. And I'm getting rid of his Shrine of Memories. So, I mean, we're just going to take 2 more prizes. We have a Lysander and a Via Seeker in hand. I mean, my opponent can end me down to 2, but at this point, I mean, I'm in an incredibly good position. Like, I don't think... My opponent would need a heck of a lot of cards to be able to come back. So, I mean, even if he gets a DCE... Okay, he plays a DCE onto the Shaman, goes for the Lysander, brings in my Mega Scizor. Okay, so he will be able to knock out my Mega Scizor with a Sky Return for a whopping 20 damage. But at this point, I mean, he's played his Lysander. He's played his supporter for the turn. Unless he has a random red card, I win this match because he will be able to knock out this Mega Scizor. But I can just go ahead and Lysander in the Shaman on the bench, Iron Crusher it, and take my last 2 prizes. And this is exactly why I wanted to save my Mega Scizor or my Lysander, because I knew that I could take a prize on a Shaman whenever I wanted. I wanted to take out the threats that were the Mewtwo's first and go from there. And, I mean, yeah, now the game is 100% over. Just for fun, playing down Scizor Spirit Link, play down another Scizor, Lysander in that Shaman, and then go for an Iron Crusher for the game. And Mega Scizor takes down what is considered another top-tier deck in this format. And okay, there's the other Float Stone. Well, there's a Float Stone that I was looking for. So it turned out I only had 1 in my deck, and I mean, I guess that comes down to me only running 2 Float Stone, and you could run 3 if you really wanted 100%. Well, not 100%, but higher probability of consistency. But either way, that is exactly how that deck is supposed to work. I got a matchup against 2 of the top decks in the format. I mean, you have Dark with Yveltal, and then you have the Mega Mewtwo Garbodor, and Scizor just really completely dismantled them. I would have liked to get one against Mega Rayquaza, but I mean, you can't get everything you want all the time, but I have gotten a couple test matches against it and was able to go right around 50-50 with it. I mean, I think I won a little bit more, but I mean, that's beside the point. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. Leave your comment in the comment section below, and this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.